him and his wife, Marcia, reside Newton and are members of the Mennonite Church of the Servant in Wichita. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
And you have no way of knowing my last name is pronounced Stoesz. No problem. It is not a Kansas name. If you were from Mountain Lake, Minnesota, like me, you would know the name. But it's not common, so thank you. I am pleased to be here in First Mennonite Church of Hallstead. I love this remodeled sanctuary, but I have only seen it since it has been remodeled. It's beautiful. I would like to start by saying thank you for your support of Camp Manasquah, and in particular, thank you for your Christmas gifts, both the donated items and the money. It is appreciated. I'm going to be nodding or pointing up there to change the slides here. Now, this presentation is a lot of pictures, and I am not going to be offended if you switch sides to get a better view of the pictures. Our camp staff includes Olivia Bartle, who is the camp director, and Gardell Stuckey, who is the facilities and maintenance director. And I have not yet added a picture of Deborah Dimmick, who is our office assistant, and she started this year. So I haven't added that one in yet. And then there's me. So I'm right here as we don't get another picture. Our summer staff this last year is pictured there. Summer staff really do a great job during the summer for all of the youth camps. This is the question that I am going to be pursuing in this talk this morning. I was visiting with one of our donors in Newton, and he asked this question: why is it that so many of our young people, before they are baptized, talk about Camp Manasquah? Why is Camp Manasquah so spiritually meaningful? Or, from the title of the sermon, why do we talk about Camp Manasquah as this most sacred space or place? Go ahead. I thought about that, and after a couple of false starts, I've come up with a three-part response. Now, you may or may not agree, but I'm going to share with you what my response is. First, it's about good relationships. And I chose those scriptures because they're about right relationships with nature and with God and with others and with self. Love others as yourself. But it's not really about studying right relationships, it's experiential. It's about experiencing them. And finally, it's long-lasting. Camp Manasquah, the experience there for most people is not a fly-by-night thing. It lasts a long time. Next. And so you saw Adam and Jill doing the children's story with the 4 circles. Those 4 circles are actually our vision at Camp Manasquah. And so our vision is that Camp Manasquah is a place where people of all ages come to renew themselves, their relationships, and their connection with God. We intentionally seek the intersection of God, nature, self, and others. Next. So those relationships, what does that look like? And now to try to show the experiential rather than the intellectual, what follows is a lot of pictures. And I'm not going to say a lot of words. Experiencing nature, river play, one of the flowers, the river. Happens to be a lot of water in the river when that picture was taken. There's a snake in there. Clouds. Second, experiencing others in crafts and swimming. This is called Gaga Ball. I was invited to play that, and I discovered it is not a game for old men. And crafts, making masks, hayride, and experiencing self. I think it's helpful to get away from our gadgets. Our computers and cell phones don't work at Camp Manasquah. Our video games and television sets. And experiencing God. This is some of the summer staff leading song. Next. Song, praise. Bible study, led by Esther Kuntz, I believe. I kind of like that one. It's amazing to me that both you could get that kind of synchronicity with everybody jumping at the same time, and you could take a picture of it. By the way, Olivia took, I think, all these pictures. She's a great photographer. Experiencing God at campfire. And it's long-lasting. So many of the campers go on to be counselors, and many of them go on to be summer staff, and here the summer staff are preparing for a gourmet meal, or kitchen volunteers, or volunteers in building. These volunteers are building our newest addition there, which is a pavilion, an outdoor pavilion next to the retreat center. If you haven't been out there lately, that's the newest addition. This is our board from last year. I don't have a picture of our board from this year yet, but 9 of these people are carryovers, and we have a couple of new ones this year. Scrapbooking retreat. Retirees retreat. And so that's basically my response to that question. Why is camp this most sacred place? Why is it so spiritually meaningful? It's about right relationships. It's experiential. And it's long-lasting. So let's go on to the next slide. I'm going to take a short theological detour, and I don't know if you can read that Peanuts cartoon. Charlie Brown says to Snoopy, "I hear that you're writing a book about theology." Charlie Brown says, "I hope you have a good title." And Snoopy says, "I have the perfect title. Has it ever occurred to you that you might be wrong?" Well, yes, it's occurred to me, but it doesn't stop me. So let's continue on this little detour. But is all of this experiential knowledge at camp true? It's the question that I asked myself. And truth in a general sense means worthy of belief. Next slide. But is it true in a religious sense? Now, I like Paul Tillich, who's a theologian, or was a theologian, his definition because it's short. Religion is ultimate commitment. And so then truth in religion would be that which is worthy of ultimate commitment. At least that's one way to think about it. And so my answer is yes. An excellent answer to the question, what is worthy of ultimate commitment, is right relationships with God in Jesus and the Holy Spirit, with others, with nature, and with yourself. And that's what young people experience at camp. And that's why so many young people talk about their camp experience before they are baptized. And I think they're right about that. Now, of course, theology is an interplay of the experiential and the intellectual. So sometimes called praxis, this interplay between the experiential and the intellectual. So the relationship with God we call theology, and with nature ecology, and with self psychology, and with others ethics. And one can delve into these things, and we do that in college, some of us in seminary, and in church. And so as young people become older and engage in these discussions, engage in study, there is this interplay. But there is this basis, this experiential basis at camp that is a touchstone. And I say it's long-lasting. It doesn't go away. So I wouldn't say that camp has a corner on religious truth, just a handle on it. And because of that, that means we have every good reason to participate in and support Camp Menasca. So thank you for doing so.